The drama surrounding Sophie Cunningham's injury unfolded like something out of a sports tragedy. A moment so raw and devastating that it left the Indiana Fever, their fans, and even casual viewers questioning how much more heartbreak this team could endure. 1 second, it was just another possession, another battle down low in a grueling matchup against the Connecticut Sun. The next, Sophie was writhing on the hardwood, clutching her knee, her face twisted in agony, and the air was sucked out of the arena. In an instant, the glue that had held the Fever together during Caitlin Clark's absence had been ripped away, and it felt like the basketball gods had declared war on this already battered team. Sophie Cunningham was more than just a role player. She had become Indiana's defensive anchor, their enforcer, their spirit. She was the one who wasn't afraid to mix it up when opponents targeted Caitlin Clark with cheap shots. She was the one who dove on the floor, who stretched possessions with her energy, who inspired teammates when their backs were against the wall. And yet here she was, betrayed by the reckless collision of Bria Hartley, a player whose reputation for dirty plays and violent tendencies has followed her all season long. This wasn't just bad luck. This was negligence, the culmination of months of officials allowing chaos to replace control, of letting elbows fly and hair be pulled, of letting basketball look more like rugby or street fighting than a professional league striving for respect. The replay told the story in excruciating detail. Hartley barreled baseline, lost her balance, and instead of going down harmlessly, crashed directly into Sophie's planted leg. The moment was sickening. Cunningham's knee bent unnaturally, her body crumpled, and the unmistakable scream of pain silenced the crowd. Fans who had watched Sophie battle through injuries before knew immediately this was different. She wasn't brushing this one off. She wasn't bouncing back up. She was down for good, needing trainers and teammates to help her off the floor. Her sister Lindsay took to Twitter, blasting the officiating, demanding answers. Her mother echoed the sentiment, furious that players like Hartley were being allowed to roam unchecked, endangering careers in the process. And the WNBA, once again, found itself at the center of a firestorm over officiating, safety, and the integrity of the game. For the Fever, it felt like the season's cruelest twist yet. Already without Caitlin Clark for weeks, already missing key rotation pieces to injuries, Indiana could least afford to lose Sophie, the one player who gave them toughness when everyone else was gassed. This was supposed to be their chance to steady the ship, to get a badly needed win against Connecticut, the kind of win that could reignite their playoff push. Instead, by halftime, they were down 19 points, shell-shocked, and staring down the barrel of their 5th loss in 6 games. By the start of the 3rd quarter, the deficit ballooned to 21, and commentators, fans, even the most loyal believers were writing the Fever's obituary. But sometimes in sports, devastation births defiance. And what unfolded next defied all logic, all probability, and all reason. Indiana, broken and bruised, decided they were not going to die quietly. They clawed their way back possession by possession, shot by shot, by defensive stop. And at the center of it all was Kelsey Mitchell, who put together one of the most heroic individual performances the league has ever seen. After scoring just 4 points in the first half, Mitchell erupted for 34 in the second half and overtime, tying her career high with 38. She wasn't just scoring, she was taking over, pulling up from deep, slashing into the lane, hitting clutch free throws, and when the game reached overtime, she carried the Fever entirely on her back, scoring all 10 of their points. Her back-to-back threes were daggers, the kind of shots that will live in Fever lore for years to come. And Mitchell wasn't alone. Odyssey Sims, fresh off a hardship contract and making her first start, played like a seasoned star, dropping 19 points and orchestrating the offense with poise. Aaliyah Boston turned in a monstrous all-around performance, stuffing the stat sheet with points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks, proving why she's considered one of the brightest young stars in the league. Natasha Howard provided muscle in the paint, chipping in 18. And when the moment demanded it most, Lexi Hull drilled the dagger 3 in overtime, sending the Fever bench into a frenzy. Even players like Brianna Turner, who rarely saw big minutes, made pivotal contributions. This wasn't one player dragging a team to victory. This was a collective, desperate refusal to surrender. The Fever shot just 30% in the first half, missing every 3-point attempt, looking like a team destined for a blowout. But in the second half, they flipped the script completely, shooting 46% from the floor and hitting 7 threes. They dominated the offensive glass, they forced turnovers, and they turned every ounce of frustration, heartbreak, and rage from Sophie's injury into fuel. What looked like a funeral procession turned into the most stunning comeback in Indiana Fever history. When the final buzzer sounded, the Fever weren't just winners on the scoreboard. They had sent a message to the league, to the referees, to every opponent watching. They will not be broken, no matter how many players go down, no matter how many obstacles are thrown their way. And that resilience, that refusal to quit, is worth more than gold, as Coach Stephanie White told her team in the locker room afterward. From a broader perspective, this game was more than basketball. It was a microcosm of why we watch sports in the first place. The heartbreak, the unfairness, the feeling that fate itself is conspiring against you. And then, against all odds, the triumph, the comeback, the sheer refusal to let despair win. Sophie Cunningham's injury may very well change the course of this season, but her spirit was present in every rebound, every hustle play, every desperate dive for the ball. And for Indiana, this comeback may not just save their playoff hopes, it might be the moment they look back on as the spark that redefined their culture for years to come.